would probably be best if we didn't light another fire. That way, we'll limit the likelihood of drawing the creature's attention. We all should just set up our tents and sleeping bags.
Good thinking, Alina.
Nick said.
The rest of you get some sleep. I'll take the first watch.
Russell handed Nick his rifle along with his ammunition. We all put up our tents and switched off our watch every 2 hours or so. During my watch, the storm passed and the sky was clear. A calm wind blew past my ears and the stars were numerous in the sky. The fact that so many small things could shine as brightly as they did in the night sky, surrounded by so much darkness, inspired me. It gave me comfort. The radiance of the twinkles soothed my heart and thoughts. I had the last watch and stayed up until the sun came up on the horizon. When everyone woke, we immediately packed our things and ate a small breakfast before starting our hike further up the mountain. In the afternoon, as we hiked up the mountain, Russell pointed out this long, flat cliff he spotted a ways up the mountain above us. It looked like it could have been 10 miles up the slope. Russell looked up at the cliff, pointed up at it, flicking his wrist.
That could be our ticket out of here,
he said, sounding out of breath as we all were, because we were walking up a steep slope covered in deep snow. The sky was covered in dark gray clouds and everything looked to be in black and white, from the white of the snow to the black of the frozen mountain rocks.
How long do you think it will take us to reach that cliff?
Anna asked.
8, maybe 9 hours if we don't slow our current pace down by too much.
We'll have to stay another night then. It'll be too dark to fly out of here by the time we get up there. And we will have to get up there by the end of the day. There's not a lot of cover on the hillside here. I don't want to risk us getting spotted so easily.
Agreed, I said. It must have been around 10 o'clock when we finally reached the cliff. The day had grown dark like Donald said it would. There was a long platform of land that extended for miles, it seemed, which led to the cliff where we were meant to leap off of.
I'll get some wood for the fire before...
No!
Donald interrupted.
No fires. We may have yet to escape the domain of the creatures.
What are we going to eat then? Almost everything we've packed needs to be heated in order for it to be edible, and I'm starving.
We have protein bars and snacks we can eat, Anna.
Ugh, that's not enough. The last time we had a real meal was nearly 2 days ago.
And tomorrow will come soon enough, when we glide back down to the trail and go back home where plenty warm meals await us, Anna.
Well, then will you at least allow us to light a small fire? Please, Donald. We haven't seen or heard of any sign of the creatures all day. I'm sure we've lost them at this point.
Donald looked down and sighed. He looked worn out and short-tempered. He seemed eager to find some peace of mind and didn't have patience for confrontation at any level.
Fine. We'll light a fire, but a small one. Just big enough for us to cook a decent meal.
Given how fortunate we are to have made it this far where several of our friends unfortunately failed, I think we are entitled and safe to cook a proper meal for ourselves. To be honest, looking back on that day, I don't feel like that was me saying that last line. It feels more like it was my stomach talking. I was starving after all. I hadn't had much to eat that day and I wasn't thinking straight. We melted some snow into a boiling pot over a small fire and poured the water into small packaged bags of dry food. Me and my friends talked and laughed as we ate, rejoicing our survival and mourning our lost friends, bringing up cherished and joyful memories we had of Alice, George, Alex, and Yuri.
Do you guys think Yuri made it off the mountain safely?
I hope so. Yuri was always quiet, but he was also very kind and gentle. I don't know what he saw exactly to scare him off from the trip. Maybe it was the creature that's hunting us. But if anyone truly deserves to get off this mountain alive, it would have been him. I stared silently into the flames for a moment. Anna rested her hand on my back.
I'm sure we'll see him again when we return home, Alina.
Anna held my hand and placed her other hand on our grasp. She smiled at me. I smiled back and shed a tear, but quickly wiped it away. I think I'm going to go to sleep now.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just tired.
Well, good night then. One of us will wake you for your watch when it's time.
I unzipped the entrance of my tent, lay down, and put my eyes to rest. Later that night, Russell stood watch over the camp, close to the dying fire. It was nearly dawn, and I had just returned to sleep before Russell started his watch. The sun's light could be seen peeking below the horizon, but it would be another hour or so before it was safe to leave. Russell stood close to the camp facing the woods, listening for any threatening noises. The night was calm, and much was still. Until Russell started hearing rapid, heavy footsteps, racing deep in the woods. He heard ape-like chants. They were quiet at first, but close. They went. Russell kept a tight grip on his rifle and a watchful eye on his surroundings. He knew that something was close and that something was wrong. Russell heard a loud, unnatural-sounding scream that echoed through the woods. The ape-like noises became louder, as if they were trying to warn Russell of something urgently. The pace of the footsteps in the snow quickened. The thuds became deeper. A second set of thuds became clear to Russell's ears. 4 legs, Russell thought. This second one sounds like it's moving on 4 legs. Russell rested the back end of his rifle against his shoulder and aimed his eye down the gun's sight. The thuds sounded like they were getting closer and louder. They seemed to come from every direction. Russell didn't know where to look. He hesitated. His heart raced and his brow was sweating. Suddenly, something attacked his arm from the side, knocking the gun out of his grasp. Russell grunted loudly and fell to the ground. He heard heavy, monstrous breathing coming from something large right in front of him. He couldn't make it out. Russell helplessly backed away toward the fire, panting. Russell was blank-minded, scared half to death. His heart felt sick and his throat gagged. The figure in front of him slowly approached on 2 legs, it sounded like. Russell had to stop his retreat. The fire was right above his head. He shivered in fear. For in the glow of the flames, Russell could see the features of the creature as clear as day. Russell couldn't think to do anything at this point, except one thing. The features of the creature were so gruesome, so horrid, so unrealistic. The creature's eyes staring down at Russell with such intent and unfeeling made the situation even worse. All Russell could do was yell and scream.
Ah!
Russell turned around on his stomach and tried to crawl away. The creature quickly laid its large hands on both of Russell's wrists, keeping Russell pinned to the ground. Still, all he could do, in spite of the pain, was scream and tense his body. He could not hope to outmatch the creature. The creature plunged Russell's hands into the hot, fiery coals in the middle of Russell's cry. Then the creature forced Russell's head into the coals and killed him.